So she's
I mean,
a
they
serial
sound reasonable.
fraudster. That's called fraud. She's a Me Too victim there. That's absurd. She seems like kind of a jerk. Wow, she's like kind of a bully. She's rather mean. She claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her.
Blake Lively is plummeting after Megyn Kelly revealed her in the most cruel manner years have allowed. Blake painted the ideal picture, perfect, elegant, Hollywood's golden girl, but Megyn just tore that front apart, revealing a long history of deception, power maneuvers, and victimizing behavior when things didn't go her way, even before Blake took over. Finish with us and steamrolled Justin Baldoni. Back in her Gossip Girl days, she was already laying her empire of domination. She then said she was truly a good man, hence the whole smear effort was useless, a power flex for the sake of it. She said she poisoned the cast against Penn Badgley, not for any serious reason, but just because she disliked him. One other instance is Blake's breakup with Leighton. Leighton concentrated on performance while Blake fixated on celebrities. Their friendship was dead by the time the show concluded. Today, Leighton is not defending her, and the receipts are clearly seen back in 2022, unknowingly revealing to the precise thing Baldoni is suing her for. Blake stood on stage at the Forbes Power Women Summit before assuming control of shows behind the scenes. She acknowledged tricking her way into positions, posing as an eager actress. She also joked about how directors felt deceived upon learning what she was doing, and now Baldoni is taking her to court for precisely that. His lawsuit clearly states this: Blake pretended to be just an actress in It Ends With Us, then forced him out of his own movie, overrode his artistic vision, and seized control. As it happens, this was not a one-time betrayal. Blake has been honing this approach for years, beginning with minor creative ideas, then assuming total control. Unlike the well-known directors she has controlled before, Baldoni was not a Hollywood juggernaut. The directors that opposed were either silenced, outmaneuvered, or driven out. He neither was Dennis nor Christopher Nolan. Blake pounced, vulnerable as he was. She initially performed politely, but soon she began altering screenplays, making executive decisions, treating the movie as though it belonged to her. Baldoni had vanished entirely by the time It Finishes With Us. Here's where Blake became cocky. The same phrases she boldly spoke about in 2022 are now proof against her. The man who battled for this film was not even allowed at his own premiere, while Blake took center stage. Not new, what was once a flex is evidence of industry-wide manipulation now. Baldoni gained the rights to his years-long passion project, It Ends With Us, in 2019. Years of development were invested in Wayfarer Studios, his production firm, creating a film faithful to the message of the novel about domestic violence. Then, the second Blake intervened and tore it away from him. Originally Baldoni's dream project, this became her most recent power grab. This time, she is at last being caught. Originally seeming to be a major triumph for the movie, Blake Lively's casting as Lily Bloom in It Ends With Us in April 2023 seems to be a disaster. Blake should have been ideal, an A-list actress tied to a great book with a devoted following, but behind the scenes, she was grabbing power rather than merely acting. Production insiders said Blake insisted on screenplay rewrites, not little adjustments, but complete scale modifications. Neither Justin Baldoni nor the original creative team accepted practically immediately after being cast. She claimed that some scenes had to be changed to match Lily's vision. But over time, it was evident this had little to do with teamwork. It dealt with mid-2023 control. Blake's impact transcended the writing. Blake had obtained final cut approval by late 2023, a prerogative usually reserved for directors or studios. With Baldoni fast losing his hold on the movie, executives were apparently taken aback by her newfound power. It Ends With Us, by the time early 2024 filming wraps, stopped feeling like Baldwin's project. The much-awaited It Ends With Us had totally taken over the premiere, eliminating Justin Baldoni in May 2024. Blake Lively had seized control. The premiere was in New York City. It should have been Baldoni's moment. He had spent 5 years planning the movie, getting the rights, and directing it. But when Baldoni arrived, he had to stay in the basement. Several accounts verified that Baldoni was kept out of sight, a footnote in Blake's own production, while he walked the red carpet and took front stage. Blake denied to see. Him there at the event made it abundantly evident that this was her night, her movie, her chance to shine. Sources claimed Baldoni was clearly uneasy knowing he had been removed from the movie he created hours before the premiere. Ryan Reynolds clearly sent a statement by unfollowing Justin Baldoni on Instagram. Blake had cut off all ties. For Hollywood insiders, what began as a film conflict had now evolved into a complete personal and professional severance. This was the instant Blake's well-chosen image began to break. Baldoni's actions were deliberate. They were not a mistake. As additional information surfaced, it became impossible to overlook just how far Blake was ready to go to ensure this was her film, no matter who got crushed in the process. Megyn Kelly calls out Blake Lively. Megyn Kelly has never been one to hold back, hence her destruction of Blake's PR-perfect image in February of 2025 sent shockwaves across the entertainment scene. She made it quite clear that this was karma during a scene on The Megyn Kelly Show, not a media witch hunt. She mentioned a press junket for Cafe Society, buried for a long time and mostly forgotten until it was uncovered in 2025 and went viral in hours during the process of catching up. At first, the interview seemed normal. A Swedish journalist named Kirsty sent Blake a friendly congrats on her pregnancy, which is a quite benign remark. Blake responded coldly, angrily, and humiliatively. Instead of smiling and moving on like a regular person, Blake swung around and told Kirsty she too had a baby bump. Kirsty was not pregnant. She could not have become pregnant in the future either. Kirsty stated that Blake's comments were deliberate and the recording proved this. They were not the outcome of an accident, a slip-up, or an innocent mistake. Like, this isn't a joke. This moment sharpened the realization that many were starting to have. Blake Lively was not the Hollywood sweetie she seemed to be at the period she was hurting Baldwin's career, stealing his project, and embarrassing others for pleasure. At last, her flawless public relations facade was crumbling for good. Blake Lively was not having fun. She was rather acting aggressively. The camera caught her contemptuous attitude, haughty smirk, and avoidance of eye contact. These all were kept on picture. Posey laughed with her co-star Parker when she was seated next to him, therefore fueling the poisonous attitude of the high school bully. With journalist Kirsty on the receiving end of Blake's intended hate for many years, what should have been a professional interview turned out to be a public humiliation. Kirsty kept the footage a secret since she feared being disciplined. Blake was not enough to be a Hollywood actress. She was also powerful, well-connected, and practically hard to approach. Given Blake's manipulative past coming to light, Kirsty's employment could have been lost should she have spoken out against her. Blake felt at last comfortable enough to reveal the truth when her carefully crafted picture of America's sweetheart was destroyed the second the clip went viral on the internet. Blake's picture was broken. Blake's public relations crew into full mitigating mode 48 hours later. Several well-known magazines, including People magazine and TMZ, carried pieces outlining Blake's unease working with Justin Baldoni. Suddenly, fresh accusations surfaced claiming Baldoni had harassed her sexually while they were filming. Industry sources quickly refuted this, pointing out that she had a recorded back condition and that she had only asked about Blake's weight for a physically taxing performance, a standard of safety. Still, Blake's team created the narrative so it would spark debate. The hypocrisy was quite clear-cut. Blake, who was seen on camera mocking the appearance of a journalist, has said she wants sympathy for what she believed to be a body-shaming action. Instead of supporting her, people started to wonder if her whole conflict with Baldoni was a front to cover from her own deeds. This indicated that her narrative was not appealing to the people. The inappropriately leaked correspondence matched the behavior which drew Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift into the controversy. Blake called them her dragons, her personal enforcers sent to publicly defend her when called upon. Blake had private books containing this material. Baldoni's Instagram unfollowing was a scheduled Hollywood show of respect where looks count most. Ryan wasted no time playing his part and proving his allegiance. Though his underlying loyalty said volumes, Taylor was not exactly quick to follow. Blake had been flaunting their friendship long ago, using it to support her image. Taylor, on the other hand, subtly left the event upon its breakdown. She reportedly felt shocked to learn Blake had used her in a personal argument. Taylor was already handling her own public relations issues, hence she did not want to get involved with Blake, since it carried a risk she was not ready to take. She failed not only to protect Blake, but also to back Justin. She just decided to say nothing. In Hollywood, quiet has more force than words. Baldoni was preparing for the actual fight that would start in the beginning of 2025, while Blake was feverishly trying to change the story the media was reporting. Under the direction of the strong attorney Brian Fredman, his legal team sued the New York Times for defamation. The real shock, though, came when Baldoni's team sent text proving Blake's claims were either totally manufactured or overstated. They charged the publication of unfounded biased claims supporting Blake's false accusations supplied without proof, since evidence was lacking. There were clear receipts rather than vague claims. The silent revolution that was underway right in front of Blake's eyes at the beginning was the true turning point, not the lawsuit or the pirated books. Colleen Hoover was not just actively encouraging of Blake, but also on her side at the start of the event. Still, in February 2025, things started to change. Social media followers of Hoover discovered she had deleted all references to Blake from her records. Transcripts, postings, or interviews are not available. The same lady Blake sought to manipulate had softly disappeared from existence, almost as if she had never interacted with her at all. She seems to have never really connected with her at all. With the weight of the data against her, it is hard to see how Blake Lively might possibly get out of this.